It wasn't just trees that were blown over last night in Scott County. We'll show you the damage coming up.
Beautiful weather rolls on across central and eastern Kentucky, but I do have some changes just in time for that weekend forecast. That's ahead.
William Paul, son of Kentucky Senator and presidential candidate Rand Paul, pleads guilty in Fayette County to DUI.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News at 5.
Good afternoon. It was not a tornado, but it still left behind quite a bit of damage.
Today, the cleanup continued for people living in a small Scott County community after storms slammed the area yesterday. The National Weather Service surveyed the damage this morning in parts of Stamping Ground. WKYT's Victor Puente was there and has our top story at 5.
It wasn't just trees that came down. Those high winds flattened a building here in Stamping Ground.
All at once my son-in-law said, "You see what happened to your shed and your garage?" I said, "What do you mean?"
When those high winds blew through Stamping Ground, dozens of trees came crashing to the ground. At the same time, Charles Baldwin's garage was in the air.
Just took the building, lifted it up. Everything's still just like it was.
The equipment he was storing inside was untouched. People living a few miles away on Riley Street said they thought they saw a tornado, but National Weather Service meteorologists say it was straight-line winds that caused the damage.
Storms are known to, kind of pulse up in that kind of environment that we had yesterday, and this one was no different. It kind of pulsed up and then just did a real narrow swath of damage that you see here.
Power lines came down. A barn's roof was lifted up. The cleanup is expected to take a few days.
A real narrow path of about 60 to 65 mile-per-hour winds.
The way that wind was hitting that front screen door or storm door when I was trying to close the window and to close the door, it was strong wind. That surprised me.
Emergency management told me they estimate this storm took down about 50 trees here in Scott County. They say that shed and that barn were the only structures they knew of that were damaged. In Scott County, Victor Puente, WKYT.
The National Weather Service also surveyed storm damage day in Marion County. They say straight-line winds caused damage there. Storm cleanup also continued today in Madison County. Strong winds knocked down several trees across the county. A couple of homes were damaged after being hit by branches. The hardest hit area in Madison County appears to be in Kirksville, where a tree fell on a house and the roof was ripped off a barn.
It has been a lot calmer today as we return to more spring-like temperatures, and it should stay that way for at least a couple of days. Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey's in the First Alert Weather Center with an early look at the forecast. Chris?
Little taste of the good stuff out there today, Sam. Lower humidity levels. It just feels better. If you're tired of the early taste of summer, we're catching a big-time break out there, as Sam mentioned, for at least a few days. Right now, Lexington, a lot of blue, a little bit of white out there. Those are ice crystal clouds coming on into town. Temperatures upper 60s to around 70. The only real drawback for the day, the winds. Those have been gusty coming at us from the west, southwest, around a big area of low pressure that is just to our north. Now that cooler air, even cooler than what we have, is slowly wrapping its way on into town. You want to talk about some chill? Hey, it's not too far away from us now, with a low 50 showing up across parts of Indiana and Ohio. Farther southeast that we go, we're still a little warmer than everybody else. Southeastern Kentucky, obviously, we're looking in your direction. The rest of the region, high 60s to around the 70-degree mark, and showing some cooler, drier air continuing to work on into town. No precipitation to talk about. That's the good news. We go with the focus of the forecast, guys, from sensational to stormy, with the 7-day outlook when I come back here in just a shade under 10 minutes.
Thank you, Chris. Our special First Alert Weather Week coverage continues today. For example, should you open your window during a tornado? If you're traveling, is an underpass the safest place to hide during a storm? Stay with us. Meteorologist Jim Caldwell debunks some weather myths in about 15 minutes.
It made national headlines today, just 3 weeks after he was charged. The case is now over.
William Paul, the son of Kentucky Senator and Republican presidential candidate Rand Paul, pled guilty today to a DUI charge following a car crash last month here in Lexington. Our Sean Moody has the story from Fayette District Court.
William Paul will have his driver's license suspended for 45 days. He'll also have to go through an alcohol education class. The other charge he was facing was dropped. Paul pleaded guilty to DUI first at his arraignment in Fayette County District Court Tuesday afternoon. The charge stemmed from an incident in April. A witness told police they saw Paul sitting in an SUV at the intersection of Old Vine Street and Woodland Avenue, revving his engine. Shortly after that, they said they heard a crash. Police said when they got there, they found the SUV had crashed into a parked vehicle, and they said Paul had a strong odor of alcohol, bloodshot, watery eyes, slurred speech, and was belligerent. According to Paul's citation, he refused a blood alcohol test. Police took him to the hospital to be checked out for injuries to his face. A charge of failure to maintain insurance was dropped at Paul's arraignment. Neither Paul nor his attorney would comment on the matter after the hearing, except to say,
You'll have a good one.
Paul will also have to pay fines and court costs totaling $718. In Lexington, Sean Moody, WKYT.
Paul has faced alcohol-related charges in the past. In 2013, he was charged with assaulting a flight attendant and consuming alcohol while underage. Those charges were dropped. Later that year, Kentucky's Alcoholic Beverage Control cited him for alcohol possession of a minor at Keeneland.
It has been more than 2 years since a mother and daughter were murdered inside their eastern Kentucky home, and police have now charged 2 men with their deaths. Our county-by-county coverage begins in Perry County. State police were searching for 30-year-old Ronnie Everidge in connection to a robbery at a Hazard business yesterday. During their search, information led them to connect Everidge to the January 2013 murders of Sandra and Susie Melton. The mother and daughter were found dead inside their burned home in the Scuddy community. State police also arrested Matthew Minks. He's been charged with 2 counts of murder. Everidge is charged with 2 counts of complicity to commit murder. In Woodford County, investigators have identified a man killed in a motorcycle crash. The Woodford County coroner says 34-year-old Justin Jelinski of Lexington crashed his motorcycle into a telephone pole last night on Old Frankfort Pike. He died at the scene. Investigators think speed played a role in that crash.
Next Tuesday, Kentucky voters make their first decisions about who should get the keys to the governor's mansion. Our new WKYT Herald Leader Bluegrass poll is finding out how the race is taking shape. Our political editor Bill Bryant has the story.
Hello there. We are just a week away from primary day in the Commonwealth. And first up in the new WKYT Herald Leader Bluegrass poll is the race to replace Governor Steve Beshear. On the Democratic side, Attorney General Jack Conway appears to be in position to have no problem in winning his party's nomination in the quest for the governor's mansion. The Bluegrass poll finds Conway with a 5-1 lead over political hopeful Jeff Young of Lexington. It's Conway with 68% support, Young with 13%. 19% remain undecided. Now, the biggest battle continues on the Republican side. It's that race among Matt Bevin, James Comer, Hal Heiner, and Will T. Scott. The new numbers in that very closely watched race are coming up on WKYT News at 6. Survey USA talked to more than 2,400 people across Kentucky between May 5th and 10th for the Bluegrass poll. The poll was conducted for WKYT, the Herald Leader, and WHAS-TV and the Courier-Journal in Louisville. Bill Bryant, WKYT.
On WKYT News at 6 tonight, we'll show you how that Republican race for governor is shaping up. For more on the Bluegrass poll, just go to WKYT.com.
Less than 3 weeks after a devastating earthquake rocked Nepal, another massive quake has hit the Himalayan nation. We'll have the latest.
The governor of Texas issues a disaster declaration for several areas after a line of tornadoes caused widespread damage on Mother's Day.
And coming up at 5:30, more from Jack Conway about the lawsuit filed today against Marathon Petroleum that he says is leading to higher gas prices in Kentucky.
The number of dead and injured is growing after another powerful earthquake hit the Himalayan nation of Nepal.
At least 37 people are dead and more than 1,200 injured in this latest earthquake that follows that massive one in April. And now a U.S. Marine helicopter providing aid is missing. Greg Boswell has more.
Aid workers in Nepal captured this dramatic landslide near a Himalayan village. It was triggered by a massive earthquake that hit the country Tuesday.
We all dived under tables and the shaking just seemed to go on and on and on.
The 7.3 tremor was centered halfway between Kathmandu and Mount Everest. It's the largest aftershock from an April 25th quake that left more than 8,000 people dead. Dozens are dead from Tuesday's quake. Search and rescue teams are looking for survivors. 6 Marines and 2 Nepalese soldiers are also missing. Their Huey helicopter went down while taking part in disaster relief operations near Cherakot, Nepal. The crew had reported fuel problems. Many people are staying in the streets, fearing their homes are not safe, but that may cause more problems.
If everyone stays in the streets for a long time, it's going to be very concerning because the rains are coming soon.
Napolina Chetri is a recent law school graduate in Alexandria, Virginia. She has talked to her family in Kathmandu.
By the time it got to, I believe it was 7.6 or 7.4, it was shaking and they couldn't go downstairs.
She's flying to Nepal Sunday over her mother's objections.
She's like, I don't want you to come. There's no way you should be coming here. There's chaos.
Napolina's family is safe, but they too are sleeping outside. Craig Boswell, CBS News, Washington.
The U.S. military has called off the aerial search for the missing Marine helicopter because of nightfall. However, the Army in Nepal will continue its ground search throughout the night. The governor of Texas has issued a disaster declaration for Van Zandt County and surrounding areas after a line of tornadoes caused widespread damage on Mother's Day. At least 5 people were killed and dozens of others hurt. Nearly 120 homes were destroyed in the tornado. The American Red Cross says dozens of people are staying in shelters. Volunteers distributed food and supplies to affected neighborhoods today.
First Alert Weather Week continues here on WKYT, and today we talk about some well-known severe weather myths.
Yeah, we have a lot of them, Sam. Over the years, you've probably heard some of them. Open your windows during a tornado, or take shelter under an overpass if you're caught out in a storm. Today, meteorologist Jim Caldwell helps us separate fact from fiction.
Severe weather season can be a very active time here in Kentucky. Those active severe weather days can be very scary and dangerous if you are prepared or misled.
A lot of folks are going to be heading out over the next several weeks, places like this, like the old ball field or the pool, what have you. Dangerous situations in a severe weather situation when you're stuck outside with limited places to go.
Lightning is an underrated weather killer, and as most people find themselves out this spring and summer, it is important to remember that lightning is more attracted to taller objects, not the material such as metal that an object is made of.
A common misconception when traveling in a severe thunderstorm or just a thunderstorm in general is to stop and get under an overpass. This is exactly what you don't want to do, because as winds are traveling and get under that overpass, they can be enhanced and go even faster.
Drivers often look for a safe place to catch a break from heavy rains while traveling, and one of the most common spots is right under an overpass. It was once rumored that climbing under these was a safe location during a storm, but physics says otherwise.
Another one of those severe weather myths is open your windows when you know that there's a tornado coming or there's been a warning. That is a myth for a reason. You need to get to a safe place as quickly as possible and don't waste your time with the windows.
It was once believed that pressure from a tornado is the reason that homes were torn apart. People were encouraged to open as many windows as possible to decrease the pressure. Now we know that the pure high winds are the driving force in home destruction. Remember, severe weather can happen and has happened in every month here in Kentucky. In Lexington, I'm WKYT meteorologist Jim Caldwell.
I'm glad you brought the overpasses up, because how many eyewitness videos have we seen of people underneath those things, and that's where they stop.
And really what made that famous was back in, I believe, 91 out in Kansas when a news crew. Where they were trapped and they took shelter with some screaming kids and family members up under an overpass. Thankfully, the tornado didn't pass over them because, well, they wouldn't probably have survived that. But that's the last thing that you want to do. But again, you know, one of the big things about this, Sam, it's like everything else in life. It's all about education. That's what our job is to do. And that's what we were talking to the kiddos out here today about.
Had about 120 of them.
Absolutely.
All right, good job. Thank you, Chris. To learn fact from fiction on even more severe weather myths, just go to Jim's story on WKYT.com. Now, if you're terrified of severe weather, you're not alone. Tomorrow, we talk to a psychology professor who says that weather phobias do exist and will show you how to face your fears.